Recently, news making the rounds on the internet is that people of the Euphrates River
بس
are
المكان وين فايت لتحت صور بس تراب مغطيه صور شو المكان فايت
when he noticed something unbelievable. A strange creature was swimming close to the rock.
Teach us what the Zakiku people believed and how they worshipped their gods. The cave's pictures and sculptures
The Euphrates River, once the lifeline of ancient empires, is drying before our eyes. What's emerging from its cracked bed is beyond archaeology, its prophecy unfolding in real time. From hidden cities and graves to strange red lights beneath the water, every discovery seems to whisper the same warning. The hour is near. Scientists call it drought. Believers call it divine revelation. What if the drying of this sacred river foretold in Revelation 16:12 is not a coincidence but a countdown? Stay until the end, because what lies beneath the Euphrates could shake your faith, your world, and your soul. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let's uncover what's been hidden for 3,000 years. It began with a sound low, metallic, almost like chains scraping across stone. Then came the light. Night vision drones hovering over the Euphrates recorded something no one could explain. Red orbs pulsing beneath the surface, moving in perfect formation. They weren't random reflections or chemical flares. They shifted like intelligent beings, rhythmic, synchronized, aware. Local witnesses, trembling as they spoke, called them eyes of judgment and the torches of chained spirits. Each light burned with a steady crimson hue, weaving through the current as if tracing an ancient path. Some hovered near the remains of stone pillars, half buried deep within the riverbed, pillars connected by rumor to forgotten tunnels below. When sound engineers enhanced the drone footage, they detected something chilling beneath the hum of the current, faint, rhythmic chanting. Not human, not mechanical. Like a whisper carried through metal. Deep, mournful, deliberate. The language was unrecognizable, yet its tone was commanding, ancient, almost priestly. Theologians quickly turned to Scripture. Revelation 9:14-15 echoed louder than ever before. Release the 4 angels bound at the great river Euphrates. Could this phenomenon be the first stirring of that prophecy? For centuries, believers have spoken of 4 fallen angels imprisoned beneath the Euphrates until the final hour, destined to bring destruction upon a third of mankind when released. Now, as red orbs blaze beneath the current, many pastors and prophecy teachers warn that these are not mere lights, but manifestations of their awakening. Ancient texts across cultures, from the Book of Enoch to Mesopotamian myth, mention celestial beings imprisoned beneath sacred waters, waiting for the appointed time. Some call them watchers, others the silent ones. Each version tells the same story: rebellion, judgment, and confinement until the end of days. 2 Peter 2-4 gives chilling confirmation. For if God did not spare angels when they sinned, but sent them to hell, putting them in chains of darkness to be held for judgment. What if the Euphrates is not merely a river, but a prison of divine design, a seal holding back forces mankind was never meant to see? What if those glowing red lights are the first cracks in that ancient gate? Fishermen along the banks claim that when the orbs appear, the water trembles, small waves rippling outward though the air is still. Animals flee, birds fall silent. The air grows heavier, charged, almost electric. One witness said, "It felt like the river was breathing." Scientists dismiss it as geothermal reaction, light distortion, or chemical reflection, yet the pattern, the formation, the eerie precision remain unexplained. And when every camera is turned off, the orbs vanish, as if aware they are being watched. If these are indeed the fallen angels stirring, then the seals of Revelation are no longer distant verses, they are becoming headlines. Stay with us, because what these lights reveal next beneath the ancient pillars and caverns of the Euphrates will leave even skeptics speechless. Just beyond the modern city of Haditha, archaeologists uncovered something that should not exist: a city perfectly preserved beneath the layers of time. As the Euphrates shifted its course, its currents brushed away sand and silt to reveal Talbas, an ancient Mesopotamian trade center that had vanished from all known maps. At first glance, the site seemed ordinary: walls, courtyards, fragments of pottery. But as excavation deepened, the pattern became impossible to ignore. Towers of mud bricks still stood in eerie perfection, their surfaces marked with faint, almost geometric scars. Merchant halls and granaries were found intact, each positioned with surgical precision under the constellations of Orion and Pleiades. No random design could explain such cosmic alignment. Whoever built Talbes had followed not trade routes, but celestial codes. When researchers brushed the dust from a set of clay tablets, they found symbols no one could identify. Some resembled early cuneiform, yet others appeared more complex spirals and intersecting lines, etched with purpose but alien to known Mesopotamian scripts. The first linguists to study them hesitated to categorize them as language at all. One called them covenant marks, like a contract written with the stars themselves. How could a single city mirror both archaeology and prophecy so precisely? Scientists described it as a Mesopotamian outpost of astonishing sophistication, evidence of early urban intelligence. Yet for pastors and prophecy scholars, it symbolized something far more profound, a physical resurrection of spiritual idolatry. One inscription translated loosely as, "When the river rises again, the gate will open." No one could explain why that sentence appeared repeatedly, carved into doorframes and altars throughout the ruins. Some believe the uncovering of Talbes is more than historical coincidence, that it represents the unsealing of ancient spiritual boundaries, where the commerce of man once intertwined with the covenants of fallen powers. The stones themselves seem to whisper the same message. Kingdoms may fall, but the spirits that built them remember their design. In the dust of Talbes, the world glimpses not just an ancient civilization but a reflection of its own obsession with power, wealth, and hidden knowledge. The city once buried in silence has returned, standing as a warning that what humanity exalts, heaven will one day judge. Along the western bank of the Euphrates near Raqqa, divers made a discovery that felt less like archaeology and more like a resurrection. Beneath layers of silt and centuries of silence, they uncovered underground monasteries and crypts, perfectly preserved in the still water. The moment lights from the divers' helmets pierced the darkness. Stone crosses shimmered back in reflection, silent, solemn, alive. Archaeologists believe these were Byzantine-era monks and martyrs, part of an early Christian order that sought refuge beneath the river's edge during times of persecution. Hidden sanctuaries like these existed throughout the ancient world, but none this large, none this intact. Some passages stretched for hundreds of meters, connecting prayer chambers with crypts carved directly into bedrock. The walls still carried traces of frescoes, saints in white robes, holding palm branches, faces turned upward in hope. Local villagers tell a haunting story. At dawn, when the sun breaks over the river, light sometimes pierces through the water, catching the submerged crosses. It's said that for a few brief seconds, golden beams shine in the shape of a cross that dances upon the surface before fading away. No one can predict when it appears, but those who witness it describe it as a sign that the saints are still watching. For believers, the image recalls Revelation 6:9. "I saw under the altar the souls of those slain for the word of God and for the testimony they held." Prophetic teachers interpret this sight as a literal reminder of that verse, the souls of the faithful resting beneath the altar of the earth, awaiting vindication. It's as though the Euphrates itself carries their prayers, whispering them through water and time. What makes this even more remarkable is the sense of presence reported by those who've entered the tunnels. Divers describe an unexplainable peace mixed with sorrow, as if the air itself was praying. Some said their equipment malfunctioned near certain chambers, as though something unseen wanted the silence preserved. Historians focus on the cultural value of the site. Theologians see a prophetic mirror. The dead beneath these stones testify not only of their own faith, but of a warning to our generation. They died for truth, while our world trades truth for convenience. Their voices, though long silent, seem to echo now louder than ever. Every stone cross beneath those waters points to the same message: the faith once buried is rising again. Like, comment, and subscribe not for numbers, but to keep these stories of faith alive before they're forgotten again beneath the waves. The footage surfaced in fragments, shaky, grainy, and yet too precise to ignore. Taken by fishermen near the central flow of the Euphrates, the video captured something gliding beneath the surface, something that defied every category of known life. For a fleeting moment before the camera shook and went dark, a serpentine figure emerged, half human, half beast, moving with impossible grace. Witnesses described it as a body covered in pale, metallic scales, a humanoid torso twisting effortlessly through the water. Two arms extended from its sides, jointed like a man's, but ending in thin, clawed fingers. Its movements were deliberate, not the flailing of an animal, but the composure of something aware, even intelligent. At first, authorities dismissed the clip as digital manipulation, but multiple recordings from different angles began to appear within days. Locals living along the riverbanks swore they had seen the same figure surfacing briefly at dusk, disappearing before anyone could react. Some heard a deep, rhythmic humming before it appeared a vibration that traveled through the water and into their bones. In ancient texts, such a being has a name, Leviathan. Mentioned in Job 41, it is described as a creature no man can tame, a living embodiment of chaos, whose breath kindles coals and flames shoot from its mouth. In Hebrew tradition, it represents the boundary between the mortal world and the deep, a living barrier between the known and the forbidden. Others have linked it to the ancient serpent of Revelation 12-9, that old dragon called the devil, or Satan, who deceives the whole world. The parallels are unsettling, a serpent rising from beneath, appearing at the same site where the Bible places the four bound angels. It is as if the ancient powers chained beneath the Euphrates are no longer silent. Some prophecy scholars note that the creature's physical features, human-like arms, luminous eyes, match descriptions of hybrid beings from pre-flood mythology, where fallen angels were said to have corrupted creation itself. They argue that what has emerged may not be a mere beast, but a remnant of that corruption, an echo from a world erased by judgment. Local fishermen have grown terrified. Nets cast into the river are sometimes retrieved torn, as if shredded by blades. Some refuse to go near the water after sundown, saying that a heavy silence falls whenever the creature is near. Even the animals sense it. Birds scatter, and the dogs howl toward the water as if calling out a name they cannot speak. Scientists who reviewed the footage offered cautious hypotheses. Perhaps a massive eel, distorted by current and light, perhaps an unknown species disoriented by pollution. Yet none could explain the symmetrical arm movements or the metallic shimmer that reflected light even in total murk. To theologians, this is not biology, it is revelation. The river that once nourished empires now reveals something older than history itself. If the Euphrates has indeed become a stage for prophecy, then this serpent, whatever it may be, stands as a symbol of that unveiling, the return of what was once cast down, now rising again from the depths, to remind humanity that not all ancient stories are myths, and not every shadow belongs to the past. In the northern reaches of the Euphrates, where steep cliffs descend into mist, a massive structure has re-emerged from Shadow Aztec Castle, a fortress carved directly into the living rock. What makes this discovery extraordinary is not merely its size, but its silence. It stands untouched by time, the air around it thick with the sense that something ancient has been watching, waiting. Archaeologists describe the site as a temple fortress, half military, half celestial observatory. Its walls are etched with Greek inscriptions and symbols predating Christianity, concentric circles, winged discs, and figures with elongated limbs, their hands raised toward the heavens. Every marking seems deliberate, arranged along lines that mirror the constellations above. The entire structure, when mapped, forms a pattern identical to the constellation Orion, the same formation found in Egyptian, Sumerian, and Babylonian sacred architecture. Historians believe the builders of Aztec understood something far beyond their time, a form of astral worship, blending astronomy with ritual. They call it the Fort of the Giants, a name that lingers in the folklore of local villagers who claim that the stars once descended here. Some elders say the site was forbidden, that strange lights were seen moving along the cliffs at night, and that the ground itself trembled when anyone approached. But theologians read the fortress differently. To them, this is not simply the ruin of an ancient civilization, it is a stronghold of spiritual power, one that never truly fell. Ephesians 6:12 speaks of principalities and powers, rulers of the darkness of this world, and many prophetic scholars believe Aztec embodies that warning. They point to the recurring patterns, gates, circles, altars as evidence of a portal site, a place designed for communion between men and fallen spirits. Inside one chamber, archaeologists discovered a narrow tunnel leading downward. Its entrance is surrounded by carvings of winged beings, with faces eroded almost to anonymity. The tunnel descends so sharply that modern equipment struggles to follow. Those who've gone deepest report an overwhelming vibration, a low hum that seems to come from the rock itself. Some described it as the sound of metal grinding in stone, others as voices beneath the earth. For centuries, locals avoided the area. Shepherds would not let their flocks graze near the cliffs, claiming that animals panicked without cause. Lightning strikes are unusually frequent in the region, sometimes forming columns of light that appear to rest directly over the fortress. Scientists attribute it to atmospheric conductivity. Prophets see it as something else, a signal of power returning to its ancient gate. If the Euphrates is indeed the stage of unfolding prophecy, Hastic may be one of its altars, a remnant of the old world awakening for the final act. Each engraving, each constellation, each echo in the stone seems to whisper of alignment, a moment when heaven and earth will meet once more. Not in peace, but in judgment. Stay with us. What lies beyond this fortress, deeper beneath the Euphrates basin, will redefine what we think we know about the unseen. Watch the next part, the caverns of chains. Beneath these cliffs, the sound of prophecy is no longer history, it's alive. Beneath the soil of the Euphrates basin lies a network of tunnels that defies all explanation. When ground-penetrating radar first detected the voids, researchers assumed they were remnants of natural erosion fractures carved by ancient floods. But as the excavation began, it became clear. This was no natural formation. The tunnels stretched for miles, branching in geometric precision, forming a labyrinth of chambers, each one larger and colder than the last. Explorers who entered the first passage described an oppressive stillness, a silence so thick it seemed to breathe. When flashlights cut through the darkness, the light revealed smooth, hand-hewn walls, covered in black residue, and markings resembling ancient script or sigils. No language matched them exactly. Some looked Sumerian, others Aramaic, but the pattern repeated endlessly. Circles within circles, crossed by lines resembling chains. Then came the sound. At first, faint, a distant metallic resonance, echoing through stone. It grew louder the deeper they went, repeating in irregular intervals. Metal against rock. The audio equipment captured it clearly, a dragging rhythm, like chains being pulled across the floor. But when explorers stopped, the sound continued steady, deliberate, as though responding to their presence. One archaeologist compared it to a heartbeat made of iron. Another refused to return after claiming she heard whispers woven within the echoes, not in any known language, but resembling a low chant. The recordings were later analyzed and found to have sub-audible frequencies matching no mechanical vibration. In simple terms, the sound was coming from somewhere or something alive beneath the chamber floor. The tunnel's architecture added to the dread. Each chamber was marked by 4 pillars, carved with symbols of wings and eyes, their features eroded by centuries. Beneath them lay shallow pits, filled with hardened sediment that once might have been water. The alignment of these rooms mirrors the 4 points of a compass, converging around a central chamber still unexplored due to instability. Theological scholars immediately drew a connection to Revelation 9:14-15, released the 4 angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates, and the 4 angels, who had been kept ready for this very hour and day and month and year, were released to kill 1/3 of mankind. The description fits too precisely to ignore 4 points, 4 pillars, 4 sealed chambers. Some now believe these tunnels are not man-made at all, but the ancient prison of those very beings, the fallen angels bound by divine command, sealed beneath the Euphrates until the appointed time. Local villagers have long feared the area. No one goes near it after sunset. They say the air changes at night, colder, heavier, electric. Animals refuse to cross certain sections of ground, howling or freezing in place. Those who have tried to sleep near the site report hearing the same dragging sound, even miles away. The scientists dismiss it as seismic resonance, the earth grinding under pressure. But for those who have stepped into the tunnels, the feeling is unmistakable. Something waits below, something aware, something restrained. And when the final seal is broken, those chains, the same ones echoing now through the depths, will no longer hold. The Euphrates, it is a divine boundary, a meeting point between realms seen and unseen. Across its winding course, every discovery from glowing lights and buried cities to angelic prisons and strange creatures, seems to obey one design, one unseen pattern, as if guided by a single prophetic hand. What happens here does not stay local. It ripples through the world, bending both science and spirit towards something inevitable. Ancient prophets called it the spine of prophecy, the artery through which heaven's decrees touch the dust of the earth. When God spoke of beginnings, Eden's waters flowed from this region. When he warned of endings, Revelation pointed here again. From the first garden to the final judgment, this river is the bridge of time itself. Every sign now rising from its depths, the red orbs, the forgotten tombs, the chained caverns, appears not as chaos but as choreography, a sequence of divine precision. Historians see fragments of civilizations lost. Believers see messages written by eternity. The same rhythm of alignment seems to beat beneath every new revelation. Earthquakes where there were none, fires where no spark should burn, celestial anomalies, twin suns recorded above deserts, red moons that linger beyond the calendar's logic. The Euphrates seems to hum in harmony with these global disturbances, as though all creation is tightening toward a single moment. The prophet Daniel foresaw it. Seal up the words until the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall increase. Daniel 12:4. That verse was not a poetic flourish. It was a timeline. Humanity now races to and fro across the earth and sky, unlocking the mysteries of creation, yet unknowingly approaching the threshold of divine disclosure. The Euphrates, long sealed by time and sediment, now mirrors that prophecy. The seal is breaking. Knowledge increases. Revelation deepens, and the river once silent now speaks again. Scholars note that these converging signs echo the biblical language of awakening, the birth pains of creation. As knowledge expands, so does unrest, wars, pestilence, the trembling of nations. The river's secrets are no longer buried. They are rising in sequence with the shaking of the world. Every layer of soil peeled back seems to expose not just history, but prophecy in motion. In ancient times, to cross the Euphrates was to enter unknown territory, the border between kingdoms, belief, and destiny. That same spiritual threshold now stands open again. The discoveries are not coincidences. They are summons, heaven's way of calling humanity to attention before the curtain lifts on the final act. Those who understand these patterns sense what is coming. The alignment is no longer symbolic, it is literal. The river's course, the stars above, the tremors below, all are converging toward the fulfillment of every word once sealed. The Euphrates is no longer a river of history. It is a mirror of heaven's intent, and its reflection grows brighter with every sign. Watch the next part, the coming king. Because the river's voice is not only a warning, it is a proclamation that the one who owns it is about to return. The signs are no longer whispers, they are thunder. From the Euphrates to the ends of the earth, the pattern has formed, and the final message is clear. A king is coming. But this return will not be quiet. It will split history itself. Prophecy describes not only destruction, but revelation, the unveiling of authority long concealed. The same voice that spoke creation into being will soon speak again, not in parable or mystery, but in command. The heavens will open, not for rain or fire, but for a figure clothed in light, whose very presence dissolves darkness. His eyes flames, his crown many, his name written where only heaven can read. He comes not to build a new empire of men, but to reclaim the one that was always his. Revelation 19:11-13 says, I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse, and he who sat upon it was called Faithful and True. His robe was dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God. This is not mythology. It is the conclusion of the divine order. Every kingdom, every ideology, every power built on pride will bow before the unshakable truth of his sovereignty. The Euphrates, the nations, the stars all have aligned not by coincidence, but by decree. The king does not return as a teacher or a wanderer, but as the rightful ruler of all creation. When he comes, deception will die. Technology will fall silent. Crowns will rust in his light. The same hands that once bore nails will now carry the scepter of eternal authority. Angels will fill the skies, not to sing of birth, but to announce the final reign. The earth will tremble, not in fear, but in recognition. Every element of creation, from the rivers to the stones, will know the voice of its maker. This moment will divide the world, Those who mocked will mourn, those who believed will rise. The faithful who endured the martyrs, the watchmen, the seekers will see the promise fulfilled. And yet, amid the majesty, mercy will remain. Even in judgment, the door of repentance will stand open until the very last heartbeat of the world. The message of prophecy has always been this: prepare your heart, not your pride. No discovery, no warning, no sign is given for fear alone, but for awakening. The call is not to panic, but to purity, not to speculation, but to surrender. The Euphrates has spoken, but the world still has a choice to turn or to perish, to listen or to ignore. For when the trumpet sounds, there will be no more time to decide. The King is not coming soon, he is already on his way. Like, comment, and subscribe to stand with those who seek truth, not comfort. Share this message so others may awaken before it's too late. Thank you for watching, for believing, and for keeping your eyes lifted, because the story is not ending. It's beginning where eternity begins.
I think I found a dinosaur. Those were the words of Joe Davis, who works at Rutland Water Nature Reserve.
The sword is remarkably well preserved.
The book of Revelation warns of the Euphrates River drying up, and this is signaling world-changing events. Once this thought to be symbolic, this prophecy now feels eerily real. A shocking discovery beneath its waters has left scientists baffled and believers alarmed. Could this be proof of God's hand at work? The Bible links the Euphrates to fallen angels and the rise of the Antichrist. Is this the final warning? Join us as we uncover the truth behind this chilling revelation and its connection to the return of Christ. The Euphrates River is drying up at an alarming rate. The dwindling waters of the Euphrates have revealed hidden secrets buried beneath its depths, secrets that may have remained hidden for thousands of years. As researchers explored the exposed riverbed of the drying Euphrates River, they stumbled upon a shocking discovery: an enormous skeletal structure resembling that of a colossal serpent. The sheer size and length of the bones defied all known species, leading to immediate speculation about its origins. Some scientists theorize that it could be the remains of a prehistoric species yet to be identified, while others question whether it belongs to a long-extinct giant serpent from an era long forgotten. However, not all scholars believe this discovery is merely a scientific anomaly. Some religious historians and theologians see this as a sign, perhaps a manifestation of ancient biblical warnings. Could this be a remnant of the great creatures mentioned in ancient texts? Or does it point to something even more unsettling, a connection to the forces of darkness? One theory suggests that this could be the preserved remains of an ancient species that thrived thousands of years ago when the Euphrates was a much different environment. Nevertheless, another more alarming theory ties this discovery to biblical prophecy. Snakes have long been associated with deception, evil, and chaos, symbolizing the presence of dark forces. The book of Genesis describes the serpent as the instrument of Satan in the Garden of Eden. The book of Revelation warns of the great dragon, Satan himself, who will deceive nations. Could this serpent's remains be a direct sign pointing toward prophetic fulfillment? The drying of the Euphrates has already been linked to the end times by many biblical scholars, and now, with this eerie discovery, some fear that something even more sinister is unfolding before our eyes. Is this a warning from heaven? Why did the skeleton of a giant snake appear in the Euphrates River? The presence of this colossal serpent skeleton raises numerous questions. If this were simply an ancient species, why has no record of such a creature ever been found before? Some biblical scholars suggest that this may not be a coincidence. The Euphrates River has long been associated with divine intervention and judgment, and the sudden appearance of such a mysterious skeleton could be a sign from God, one that demands our attention. Hold on a second. Tap that like button, drop a comment below, and don't forget to share this video with your friends. All right, let's keep going. Snakes in the Bible. Throughout the Bible, serpents have played a crucial role in representing deception, sin, divine punishment, and even spiritual warfare. From the Garden of Eden to the apocalyptic visions in Revelation, snakes have been tied to the forces of evil and chaos. The discovery of a giant serpent skeleton in the Euphrates River may hold deeper symbolic significance, perhaps even pointing to ancient battles between divine and fallen beings. The most infamous biblical reference to a serpent comes from Genesis. Satan took the form of a serpent to deceive Eve, leading to the fall of humanity. Genesis 3:1-5. This moment marked the introduction of sin and death into the world, showing how the serpent was an agent of deception, working against God's divine order. The snake was cursed by God, doomed to crawl on its belly as a sign of eternal humiliation. Genesis 3:14. If the skeletal remains discovered in the Euphrates truly belonged to an ancient, colossal serpent, could it serve as a reminder of the original deception, an echo of the first rebellion against God? Snakes also appear in the time of Moses. In Numbers 21:6-9, after the Israelites rebelled against God, he sent venomous serpents as a form of divine judgment. Many perished, but those who looked upon the bronze serpent Moses lifted on a pole were healed. This paradoxical symbol, the serpent as both punishment and salvation, foreshadowed the coming of Christ, who would be lifted up to redeem humanity. However, the most chilling connection between snakes and biblical prophecy comes in Revelation, where Satan is described as the great dragon, that ancient serpent who is called the devil and Satan, the deceiver of the whole world. Revelation 12:9. Here the serpent evolves into a dragon, a fearsome entity associated with end times deception, chaos, and destruction. Now let's move on to another discovery on the other side of the Euphrates River to see how this river connects to the Bible. As the riverbed continues to dry, locals stumbled upon an ancient, corroded sword buried beneath the silt and rocks of the Euphrates. The sword, covered in rust and centuries of sediment, appeared to be massive in size compared to ordinary weapons of the past. Archaeologists and historians are baffled by the discovery, as the weapon does not match the typical designs of swords found in the region. However, it didn't take long for whispers and theories to begin circulating among the people. Could this be the legendary sword of Goliath? As the story of the discovery spread beyond the immediate region, biblical scholars and religious researchers became deeply intrigued. The details of the sword's massive size, its unexpected location, and its mysterious composition fueled intense speculation that it could be linked to one of the most famous battles in biblical history, the legendary duel between David and Goliath. According to 1 Samuel 17:45-51, Goliath was a towering Philistine warrior, a giant who terrorized the armies of Israel. He challenged them to send a single man to fight him in one-on-one combat. While King Saul and his warriors were filled with fear, a young shepherd named David stepped forward, armed only with a sling and 5 smooth stones. Declaring that he fought in the name of the Lord, David launched a stone that struck Goliath squarely on the forehead, knocking him to the ground. However, David didn't stop there. He rushed forward, took Goliath's own massive sword, and beheaded him, securing a miraculous victory for Israel. How could Goliath's sword end up in the Euphrates? If this truly is Goliath's legendary sword, how did it find its way to the Euphrates River, so far from the land of Israel? Several theories have emerged, attempting to explain this mystery. Lost in ancient battles. The Euphrates was a critical geographic feature in the ancient world, with many civilizations battling for control of its fertile lands. It is possible that the sword was taken as war loot and later lost during battle, sinking into the riverbed over time. There is another theory, the sword taken by exiled Israelites. When the Babylonians conquered Jerusalem and destroyed Solomon's temple, they looted many sacred relics. Some believe that Goliath's sword was among these treasures and was transported eastward, where it was eventually discarded, buried, or forgotten. Another theory suggests that Israelite priests or warriors, fearing the destruction of their relics, hid the sword in a secret location, possibly near the Euphrates. Over centuries, shifting landscapes and floods could have buried it beneath the river, waiting to be uncovered in due time. Some believe that the sword's discovery at this particular moment is not a coincidence, but rather a sign from God. The Euphrates River is drying up, a prophecy foretold in Revelation 16:12, and this discovery could be part of a divine unfolding of events leading to the end times. The original of Goliath. Goliath was not an ordinary man. Described in 1 Samuel 17:4, he stood over 9 feet tall and was considered a fearsome warrior of the Philistines. His immense size and strength have led many to believe that he was not fully human, but rather a descendant of the Nephilim. The Nephilim are one of the most mysterious and controversial beings mentioned in the Bible, often linked to the presence of fallen angels and their interference in human affairs. Their origins can be traced back to Genesis 6:4, which states, "The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them. They were the heroes of old, men of renown." Genesis 6:4 NIV. This passage has puzzled theologians and historians for centuries. Who were these sons of God? Why did their union with human women produce beings described as mighty, powerful, and different from normal humans? Many biblical scholars believe that these sons of God were fallen angels, spiritual beings who rebelled against God and corrupted the earth by taking human wives and producing offspring known as the Nephilim. These hybrid beings were not just ordinary humans. They were said to be giants, possessing immense strength, intelligence, and influence. The Bible refers to them as heroes of old, men of renown, suggesting that they played a significant role in the ancient world. However, rather than being noble warriors, they were often associated with corruption, destruction, and wickedness. Some scholars argue that their very existence tainted human bloodlines, which is why God brought about the Great Flood, to wipe them out and restore humanity to its intended purity. Could Goliath be a descendant of the Nephilim? The story of Goliath, the towering Philistine warrior defeated by David, is one of the most famous biblical accounts of giant beings. His abnormal size and strength set him apart from ordinary men, leading many to question his origins. Was Goliath merely a naturally large man, or was he something more? Some biblical researchers believe that Goliath was a direct descendant of the Nephilim, a remnant of the corrupt bloodline left behind after the flood. This theory is supported by additional biblical references to other giants that existed long after Noah's time. For example, in Numbers 13:33, when the Israelite spies scouted the Promised Land, they reported seeing giants. "We saw the Nephilim there. The descendants of Anak come from the Nephilim. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them." Numbers 13:33 NIV. These giants, known as the Anakim, were believed to be descendants of the Nephilim. The Bible later describes David and his men fighting against more giants from Goliath's lineage in 2 Samuel 21:15-22, further reinforcing the belief that the Nephilim bloodline persisted long after the flood. The fallen angels and their connection to the Euphrates River. If Goliath was indeed a Nephilim, and his sword has now been discovered in the Euphrates River, could there be a deeper spiritual significance to this location? Is it possible that the very river tied to demonic imprisonment and judgment is now revealing long-hidden secrets that align with biblical prophecy? The Euphrates River is one of the most important rivers mentioned in the Bible, often linked to God's judgment, destruction, and supernatural events. From the earliest accounts in Genesis to the apocalyptic visions of Revelation, this river has been associated with powerful divine interventions. In the book of Revelation, we find one of the most chilling prophecies about the Euphrates, one that speaks of 4 fallen angels bound beneath its waters, awaiting their time of release. It said to the 6th angel who had the trumpet, "Release the 4 angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates." And the 4 angels who had been kept ready for this very hour and day and month and year were released to kill a third of mankind. Revelation 9:14-15 NIV. This passage describes a terrifying event, a time when 4 fallen angels will be set loose upon the world, bringing death and devastation on an unprecedented scale. These powerful entities, once part of God's divine order, rebelled against him and were imprisoned beneath the Euphrates. The fact that they remain bound until a specific moment in history suggests that their release will be part of God's prophetic timeline. The discovery of a massive sword, possibly belonging to Goliath, within the Euphrates raises important spiritual questions. Is it simply an ancient artifact, or is it a sign of something greater? Could it be connected to the fallen angels bound beneath the river? If the Nephilim were the offspring of fallen angels, and their bloodline persisted through giants like Goliath, Could this discovery be evidence of their existence? More importantly, does it indicate that we are approaching the time of their release? Do you remember the giant snake skeleton we mentioned above? And could this giant snake skeleton be linked to the fallen angels bound beneath the Euphrates? In Revelation 9:14-15, the Bible speaks of 4 angels imprisoned in the river, awaiting their release to unleash devastation upon the world. Some believe these fallen angels, possibly the watchers mentioned in the book of Enoch, once roamed the earth, corrupting humanity and introducing dark knowledge, including sorcery and genetic manipulation. Ancient texts and legends speak of beings that tampered with creation, giving rise to unnatural creatures. The Nephilim, the offspring of fallen angels and human women, Genesis 6:1-4, were described as giants. Could other monstrous creatures like enormous serpents have also existed in that era? If fallen angels once roamed the earth, creating abominations and perverting God's creation, could the skeletal remains found in the Euphrates be a relic of their influence? The timing of this discovery, alongside the drying up of the river, only deepens the mystery. Prophecies indicate that when the Euphrates dries up, major events will unfold, including the release of bound supernatural entities and the preparation for the final battle between good and evil. Could this be a sign that these ancient forces are stirring once more? The Bible has long warned that deception would be a hallmark of the last days. If the serpent was the first deceiver and Satan himself is likened to a great dragon, then the discovery of an enormous serpent skeleton may not be a coincidence. Instead, it could be a harbinger of the coming end-time battles, a chilling reminder that spiritual warfare is unfolding before our eyes. Some believe these fallen angels, known as the Watchers in the book of Enoch, once roamed the earth before their imprisonment. They were said to have corrupted humanity, imparting forbidden knowledge and possibly tampering with God's creation. The Nephilim, described as giants and hybrids, were among their offspring, Genesis 6:1-4. But could these fallen beings have also created monstrous creatures, such as enormous serpents, as part of their defiance against God? Ancient cultures have long associated serpents with hidden knowledge, power, and rebellion against the divine. In various mythologies, serpents are often linked to supernatural beings, sometimes worshipped as gods and at other times feared as adversaries. Could the massive serpent skeleton found in the Euphrates be a remnant of a lost history, one where fallen angels walked among men and distorted God's creation? A legend of fallen angels in the Euphrates River. Let us elaborate on these angels. Revelation 9:14-15 says, "Release the 4 angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates, and the 4 angels who were prepared for this hour, day, month, and year were released to kill 1/3 of mankind." These fallen angels, formerly powerful beings in God's divine order, rebelled against him and were cast down. Unlike other fallen angels who roamed the earth freely, these 4 angels were imprisoned for a specific time in history, imprisoned until the final judgment, when they will be released to carry out a mission of destruction. The fact that they were bound to the Euphrates is significant, as the river has often been seen as a dividing line between civilizations, a historical battleground, and the site of major events in the Bible. Now that the Euphrates River has dried up, some believe this could be a prelude to their imminent release. Is the world on the brink of witnessing an apocalyptic event unlike anything it has ever seen before? The angels. The fallen angels of Genesis 6 are said to have descended to earth, taking human women as wives and creating a hybrid race known as the Nephilim, giant beings with supernatural powers. These fallen beings, often referred to as the Watchers in the book of Enoch, were condemned for corrupting humanity and spreading forbidden knowledge, including war, magic, and the dark arts. Some Bible scholars speculate that the fallen angels bound in the Euphrates may be remnants of this original rebellion, watchers who committed serious crimes and were imprisoned. The discovery of a giant snake skeleton in the Euphrates may be further evidence of their ancient presence. Did these fallen angels ever create monstrous creatures to challenge God? Did their influence lead to the appearance of giant snakes, dragons, or other hideous creatures? If the fallen angels are about to be released, their appearance could lead to widespread chaos, deception, and destruction. Some believe they will manipulate world leaders, stir up global conflict, and help pave the way for the reign of the Antichrist. The Euphrates River is no ordinary body of water. Throughout history, it has been the site of spiritual encounters, divine judgments, and supernatural events. In Revelation 16:12, it is prophesied that the river will dry up to make way for the kings of the east, setting the stage for the Battle of Armageddon. With the water levels in the Euphrates currently at record lows, many believe the stage is being set for these apocalyptic events. Could this be a sign that the time for the release of the fallen angels is near? If so, their return will not be silent. As powerful supernatural beings, they can influence governments, cause wars, and deceive humanity through false miracles. Their purpose, as described in the book of Revelation, is to bring about destruction, resulting in the death of a third of humanity. Are we on the brink of Bible prophecy fulfillment? The world is experiencing turmoil, wars, natural disasters, disease, and economic instability, all of which are consistent with the Bible's warnings about the end of the world. With the Euphrates River drying up, strange discoveries being made, and tensions rising globally, could we be witnessing the gradual fulfillment of the chilling prophecies of the book of Revelation? The Bible tells us that before Jesus returns, the forces of darkness will rise in a final attempt to deceive and control humanity. The Antichrist will emerge as a powerful figure, offering false hope and solutions. Could the release of the 4 fallen angels be the catalyst for this deception? Total lunar eclipse and blood moon, a chilling omen? Adding to the growing sense of unease, a total lunar eclipse, commonly referred to as a blood moon, is set to occur on March 14th. Throughout history, blood moons have been regarded as celestial omens, signaling great upheavals, divine judgment, and supernatural events. Ancient civilizations watched the sky with reverence and fear, believing that such cosmic phenomena carried messages from the heavens. But what makes this particular blood moon even more unnerving is its timing. It aligns eerily with the drying of the Euphrates River, a prophesied event in the book of Revelation, as well as the shocking discovery of a giant serpent skeleton in the riverbed. Could these signs be pointing toward a momentous biblical event? Are we witnessing the alignment of prophecy in real time? The Bible frequently associates blood moons with the end times, judgment, and divine intervention. The prophet Joel explicitly connects the moon turning to blood with the coming of the day of the Lord. The sun will be turned to darkness and the moon to blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord comes. Joel 2:31. A similar warning appears in the book of Revelation, describing a terrifying moment when cosmic disturbances signal the breaking of the 6th seal. I watched as he opened the 6th seal. There was a great earthquake. The sun turned black like sackcloth made of goat hair. The whole moon turned blood red. Revelation 6:12. This passage suggests that a blood moon, combined with earthquakes and other disasters, will precede a period of divine judgment. While skeptics may dismiss lunar eclipses as mere natural occurrences, believers understand that biblical prophecy warns of celestial events as harbingers of greater events to come. Blood moons have often coincided with pivotal moments in biblical history and world events. Some notable examples include 1493 to 1494. A tetrad of blood moons followed the expulsion of Jews from Spain, marking a significant shift in Jewish history. 1949 to 1950. Another series of blood moons occurred around the time of Israel's rebirth as a nation, fulfilling a major biblical prophecy. 1967 to 1968. A blood moon tetrad coincided with the Six-Day War, when Israel recaptured Jerusalem. Could the March 14th blood moon be another link in this prophetic chain? What makes this blood moon even more mysterious is its connection to recent unsettling discoveries. The drying of the Euphrates River, Revelation 16:12, prophesies that the Euphrates will dry up to prepare the way for the kings of the east, a critical event leading to the Battle of Armageddon. Today, reports confirm that the river is shrinking at an unprecedented rate. The discovery of the giant serpent skeleton. In the very river mentioned in Revelation, scientists have stumbled upon the skeletal remains of a massive snake-like creature. Given that the serpent is a symbol of Satan in the Bible, this discovery is deeply unsettling. Fallen angels bound in the Euphrates. Revelation 9:14-15 speaks of 4 fallen angels imprisoned in the river, waiting to be released to bring destruction upon the world. Could these celestial signs indicate that their release is drawing near? When considered together, these events paint a startling picture. The drying river, the ancient serpent, and the blood moon all seem to align with biblical warnings about the end times. Many prophecy watchers believe that celestial signs are God's way of sending warnings before major global events. Could this lunar eclipse be a signal that we are on the brink of something catastrophic? A war, an economic collapse, or even the rise of the Antichrist? As the world grows darker, both spiritually and geopolitically, many believe that we are living in the final chapters of biblical prophecy. The Bible warns that before the return of Christ, there will be signs in the heavens, wars and rumors of wars, plagues, and deception. With the Euphrates River drying, the mystery of the serpent skeleton, and the March 14th blood moon all unfolding at the same time, we are left with an urgent question. Are we witnessing a warning from God? And if so, are we ready for what comes next? The Euphrates River is a major water source in Western Asia. This 1,740-mile-long river flows through Syria, Turkey, and Iraq, and serves a population of about 60 million people. Unfortunately, this major water source is drying up due to climate change, causing a disastrous effect on the people who rely on it. Some believe the river drying up is a prophecy being fulfilled from the Bible. Specifically, Revelations chapter 16, verse 12 states, "And the 6th angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared." This verse references the coming of God's rapture. However, there is also a scientific explanation for this phenomenon. The average annual flow of the river has decreased to half its original amount. Based on satellite images, the Euphrates River Basin has lost 34 cubic miles of fresh water from 2003 to 2013, according to IFL Science. According to the Inventory of Shared Water Resources in Western Asia, states people rely on the Euphrates River for fresh drinking water, irrigation, hydroelectric power, and agricultural purposes. The river drying up has threatened the lives of everyday, working people. Syria and Turkey. In northeastern Syria, temperatures have risen by 1.8 degrees Fahrenheit compared to 100 years ago, and the average rainfall has decreased by 18 millimeters per month per century, according to the Center for Strategic and International Studies, CSIS. Decreased rainfall has also affected Syrian agriculture. Syrian villages have seen a major decrease in crop production, according to the CSIS. Syria's wheat production has dropped by 75% since 2011. Contaminated water and lack of irrigation has also caused farmers to lose their crops. Syrian and Turkish government policies have not aided in the struggle for water. According to Green Matters, these government agencies use the need for water as leverage by withholding it from neighboring nations. The Syrian-Turkish dam along the border is controlled by Turkey. In 1987, Turkey and Syria made an agreement that Syria should get 132,086 gallons of water per second. However, in 2021, Syria accused Turkey of depriving Syrians of their share of water from the Euphrates. In reality, Syria was receiving about 52,834 gallons of water per second. This caused the Aluk water station in northeast Syria to stop generating electricity. Iraq. The Iraqi Ministry of Water Resources estimates that the river will run dry by 2040 due to declining water levels and droughts driven by climate change. According to Al Jazeera, an independent news channel in Qatar, the villages in Al-Ankur, Iraq, are suffering from the decreased access to fresh water. Their only source of water was Habaniya Lake. This lake was 55 square miles long and could hold 4.2 billion cubic yards of water. The land where the lake once stood is now cracked and dry. The people in the villages of Al-Ankur, Iraq, are relying on bottled water to survive. This is causing families to go into debt from buying water. Instead of fishing in the lake to make a living, workers are having to migrate to the closest cities to find manual labor. The civil war in Iraq has severely damaged existing infrastructure and made it even more difficult to build upon it. When ISIS occupied parts of the region, many families were displaced. When these families were able to return, water resources were scarce, causing these families to be displaced again, according to Al Jazeera. Hussein Sobi, a Baghdad-based environmental activist, believes that Iraq needs a strong negotiation strategy to improve Iraq's access to water from neighboring countries. Many countries in the Middle East do not have a stable government aiding them in their struggle for water. With no strong, centralized government, millions of people are not getting the kind of care and support that they need during this environmental crisis. Health effects. With the lack of available fresh water, people turn to drinking waters that have later been found to be contaminated. Since people are drinking contaminated water, disease in the Middle East has increased over the past several years. Diarrhea, chickenpox, measles, typhoid fever, and cholera are currently spreading across Iraq because of the water crisis, according to the British Medical Journal. The BMJ also estimates that 3 out of every 5 children do not have access to safely managed water services. Nonprofit organizations and non-governmental organizations, NGOs. Nonprofit organizations have taken it upon themselves to help the people that rely on the fresh water from the Euphrates River. The Peace Forum NGO was started in 2016 by a couple of young activists. Their mission is to provide water to affected families and advocate for better solutions from local authorities. According to the CSIS, other NGOs have come to the aid of the citizens who have minimal access to water. These NGOs help to monitor the actions of governments and can be key players in pressing governments to act according to human rights principles. In Syria, 15 NGOs have helped by providing retrofitted water stations. 35 have lightly supported water stations. 5 have helped to provide stations for power supply. 10 have helped provide water trucking filling points. 21 have helped with healthcare facilities, and 6 have helped with providing schools, according to the CSIS. Jacob, what would the literal reading look like when realized? Revelation 16:12-14. And the 6th angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. For they are the spirits of devils, working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of that great day of God Almighty. Would not literal involve modern Iraq and the Euphrates by it? But the imagery is from the prophetic and visual vantage of Palestine. When we in America or Europe or the UK look east, we see China and the Asian countries. If the locale of the vision is literal, would not the players, the dragon, beast, false prophet, and frog-like devils, also be literal and visible? And how come the kings of the east then morph into the kings of the earth and of the whole world? This view is called premillennial because it teaches that Christ will come again before a 1,000-year reign upon the earth. It is called historic because, according to some, it was the dominant view of the early church, and also because, in various forms, it has appeared throughout much of church history. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.
بنسبة 100% أعلنت مديرية بيئة ميسان في العراق عن دخول هور العودة الشهيد.
صور الأجواء هيك، صور الأجواء.
Revelation 9 speaks of 4 angels bound at the Euphrates River, awaiting their release at God's appointed time. For centuries, this was dismissed as symbolic, but now, as the river disappears, strange figures and ruins are being uncovered. Could it be that this prophecy is unfolding before our very eyes? And if so, what happens next? Join us as we dive deep into biblical prophecy, ancient mysteries, and shocking discoveries that could change everything we thought we knew about the end times. The mysterious sounds of the Euphrates. Recently, locals unintentionally uncovered a row of caves at the bottom of the Euphrates River. According to some beliefs, this site is where 4 fallen angels have been imprisoned. The 4 angels of the Euphrates River is a significant event described in the Bible's book of Revelation. This prophecy, specifically mentioned in Revelation 9:14-15, speaks of 4 demonic angels bound near the Euphrates River. At God's appointed time, these angels will be released to execute divine judgment upon the world. Their release marks a catastrophic moment during the tribulation, a 7-year period in which God's final judgments will unfold upon an unbelieving world. Throughout Scripture, the tribulation is closely tied to the day of the Lord, a time when God directly intervenes in human history to fulfill his ultimate plan. This period will bring vengeance, suffering, and devastation. It will be a time of anguish, destruction, and despair. The day will be dark and foreboding, filled with the sound of trumpets and battle cries. The tribulation will unleash divine judgments, cosmic disturbances, natural disasters, and severe plagues. This prophecy unfolds near the Euphrates River, a location of great biblical significance. The river is recognized as the cradle of early civilization and has long symbolized life and its limits. However, in the book of Revelation, its meaning shifts, becoming a crucial symbol in end times prophecy. The vision of this event was revealed to John, the author of Revelation, in a series of apocalyptic images foretelling the end of the world and final judgment. The vision begins with the sounding of the 6th trumpet, marking the approach of a momentous event. The 6th angel sounded his trumpet, and I heard a voice coming from the 4 horns of the golden altar that is before God. Revelation 9:13. Then comes the command, release the 4 angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates. These 4 angels, restrained for a specific hour, day, month, and year, will be set loose to bring destruction, leading to the death of 1/3 of humanity. This passage is both compelling and terrifying, depicting a moment where the spiritual realm dramatically collides with the physical world, bringing severe consequences. The prophecy urges deep reflection, reminding us of God's sovereignty, judgment, and ultimate redemption. The account of the 4 bound angels and their release represents a major turning point in the end times narrative. It demonstrates God's justice and the fulfillment of divine prophecy. As we examine this passage, we are encouraged to look closely at Revelation's warnings, God's judgment, and the broader understanding of human history and destiny. Exploring this prophecy is like embarking on a journey through one of the Bible's most enigmatic and profound sections, challenging us to reconsider our faith, fears, and hopes for the future. Hold on a second. Tap that like button, drop a comment below, and don't forget to share this video with your friends. All right, let's keep going. What is the purpose of releasing the fallen angels? The release of these angels brings an immense catastrophe, as they are given the authority to wipe out 1/3 of humanity. But why would God allow such destruction? There is no clear link between these 4 angels and the 4 mentioned in Revelation 7:1. They may or may not be the same entities. Regardless of their identity, they are predestined for a specific hour, day, month, and year when this judgment will be unleashed. The phrase "were released" suggests that these are fallen angels. While this is not explicitly stated, the likelihood is high that they are indeed malevolent beings. Even so, they serve a divine purpose. The demonic locusts previously described in Revelation were only able to torment humans, but these 4 angels are empowered to carry out a catastrophic slaughter. Their awakening occurs only at God's command, and their destructive reach is restricted to a defined portion of humanity. They act in accordance with God's will at the appointed time. The Euphrates River was a significant geographical landmark in ancient Babylon, marking the boundary of the Roman Empire. It is also associated with several pivotal events in biblical history: the first sin, Genesis 2:10-14, the first murder, Genesis 4:16, the first organized rebellion against God, Genesis 11:1-9, the first war coalition, Genesis 14:1, the first tyranny. In Revelation 9:16-19, an army led by these angels is described. The number of the mounted troops was twice 10,000 times 10,000. I heard their number. The horses and riders I saw in my vision had breastplates fiery red, dark blue, and yellow as sulfur. The heads of the horses resembled the heads of lions, and out of their mouths came fire, smoke, and sulfur. 1/3 of mankind was killed by the 3 plagues of fire, smoke, and sulfur that came out of their mouths. These creatures wield destruction with both their mouths and their serpent-like tails, The army of horsemen is said to number 200 million. But is this figure literal or symbolic? It may not be an exact count, but rather an expression of an innumerable force, one greater than anything humanity has ever faced. The depiction of these horsemen is grotesque and nightmarish, forming an incredibly vivid image of terror. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more amazing content. Your thoughts matter, so feel free to share your opinions in the comments. Now, let's dive back in. Could BRICS be the 200 million army? Does this passage describe a human army or a supernatural force? Is it referring to a vast legion of human soldiers, or does it symbolize an invasion of demonic hordes? If this is a natural army, the strange and terrifying description may be John's way of depicting modern, mechanized warfare using the language available to him. Given that he was witnessing events far beyond his time, it is possible that what he saw resembled tanks, missiles, or other war machines which he described in the most vivid terms he knew. One interpretation is that the 200 million strong force represents a literal army, possibly a human military coalition. The BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, have been growing in power and cooperation, and some speculate that such an alliance could one day field an army of this size. Could this be the force prophesied in Revelation? However, another perspective suggests that this is not a human army at all, but a demonic invasion. This aligns with the earlier description in Revelation of a locust-like demonic army unleashed upon the earth. If this cavalry is supernatural, it would mean that the earth will face an apocalyptic battle unlike anything in human history, with a force far beyond human comprehension. Despite the destruction they bring, Revelation warns that the survivors will still refuse to repent. The rest of mankind who were not killed by these plagues did not repent of the works of their hands. They did not stop worshiping demons and idols of gold, silver, bronze, stone, and wood. Revelation 9:20. This chilling prophecy suggests that even after witnessing divine judgment, many will continue to reject God, clinging to their false gods and wicked ways. Whether this army is human or supernatural, one thing is certain: it represents a time of unparalleled devastation and divine judgment, serving as a final warning before the end of days. It doesn't stop there. Not only strange sounds were discovered under the Euphrates River, scientists also discovered one more thing. As the investigation deepens, scientists turn to advanced genetic testing to analyze the strange skeletal remains discovered beneath the Euphrates River. What they uncover shakes the foundation of everything we know about human history. The DNA extracted from these ancient bones reveals an unsettling truth. It partially matches certain human populations still alive today. This revelation suggests that the bloodline of the Nephilim, the offspring of fallen angels and human women, as described in Genesis 6:4, may have never truly vanished. But the findings don't stop there. As researchers cross-reference this genetic data with historical records and genealogical studies, an even more alarming theory begins to take shape. Some of the world's most powerful families, those who have held influence across empires, secret societies, and modern global institutions, may share a direct genetic link to these ancient beings. Could it be that fallen angels have not only survived in the shadows but have actively shaped the course of human civilization for thousands of years? The implications of this discovery are staggering. If remnants of Nephilim DNA still exist within certain bloodlines, it could explain the unnatural thirst for power, the insatiable desire to control nations, and the eerie connections between influential figures throughout history. From ancient kings and warlords to modern elites in politics, finance, and media, could there be a hidden force guiding human affairs? A force that traces its origins back to the very angels who defied God? Biblical prophecy warns that in the last days, deception will reach its peak, and an unholy resurgence may occur. Jesus himself said, "As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man." Matthew 24:37. In the days of Noah, the Nephilim roamed the earth, hybrid beings born of fallen angels and human women. Are we witnessing their return? Have they been here all along, steering history from the shadows? Who are the Nephilim? The Nephilim are mysterious beings mentioned in the Bible, often described as giants or hybrid offspring of fallen angels and human women. Their existence is one of the most debated topics in biblical history, theology, and ancient mysteries. The word Nephilim is derived from the Hebrew root NPL, meaning to fall or fallen ones, which has led many to believe they are the offspring of fallen angels who defied God. What does the Bible say about the Nephilim? Genesis 6, 1-4, the days of Noah. The first biblical reference to the Nephilim appears in Genesis 6, 1-4, describing a time before the Great Flood. When human beings began to increase in number on the earth and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose. Then the Lord said, "My spirit will not contend with humans forever, for they are mortal. Their days will be 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them. They were the heroes of old, men of renown." This passage suggests that the sons of God, often interpreted as fallen angels, took human wives and produced a hybrid race called the Nephilim. These beings were described as powerful, possibly giant in stature, and notorious in ancient times. Numbers 13, 32-33, the giants in Canaan. The Nephilim are mentioned again in Numbers 13, 32-33, when Moses sent spies to scout the land of Canaan. And they spread among the Israelites a bad report about the land they had explored. They said, "The land we explored devours those living in it. All the people we saw there are of great size. We saw the Nephilim there. The descendants of Anak come from the Nephilim. We seem like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we look the same to them." Here the Nephilim are linked to the Anakim, a race of giants in the land of Canaan. This suggests that even after the flood, some form of the Nephilim bloodline continued to exist. Sign of the end time. Many believe that the return of the Nephilim or fallen angelic interference is a sign of the end times. Jesus himself warned in Matthew 24:37, "As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man." This statement suggests that the conditions before the Great Flood, corruption, violence, and possibly the presence of Nephilim, will return in the last days. If the Nephilim were the result of fallen angels corrupting humanity, then some believe this could happen again before Christ's return. Possible signs of the end times related to the Nephilim. Many believe that fallen angels and their influence are becoming more visible in the world. Reports of strange creatures, alien abductions, and unexplained genetic anomalies could be linked to Nephilim-like beings. Manipulation of human DNA. Advances in genetic engineering and transhumanism could be a way for fallen angels to corrupt human DNA again. Some theorists suggest secret societies or world elites may have Nephilim ancestry influencing global decisions. The Euphrates River drying up, Revelation 16:12. The Bible prophesies that the Euphrates River will dry up as part of the end times. Some believe that as the river dries, ancient beings, possibly Nephilim or fallen angels, will be released. A new hybrid race? Could modern Nephilim already be among us? The rise of AI, genetic hybrids, and transhumanism could be a sign of humanity moving towards something unnatural, like in Noah's days. The Great Deception, 2 Thessalonians 2:9-11. The Bible warns that a great deception will come upon the world. If Nephilim or fallen angels return, they could deceive people into thinking they are advanced extraterrestrial beings or enlightened gods. Whether or not Nephilim physically return, the signs of the end times are already unfolding. Humanity is being drawn into deception, genetic manipulation, and spiritual corruption, just as in Noah's day. This is why Jesus urged us to be watchful, prepared, and faithful to God's word. Could we be witnessing the fulfillment of prophecy? Many believe the answer is yes. The Euphrates River, long part of the area known as the Fertile Crescent, is a significant landmark in Scripture and a valuable resource in the Middle East as it runs through Turkey, Syria, and Iraq. Over the past few years, the water level of the Euphrates River has dropped dramatically. The drying up of the Euphrates River has revealed several ancient ruins and a cave. Some people are quick to point to the drying riverbed as a fulfillment of the Bible's end times prophecies. Two passages in the Bible predict the drying up of the Euphrates River. The first prediction is part of a lengthy oracle against Babylon. God pronounces judgment against Babylon's officials and wise men and against its false prophets, warriors, horses and chariots, and treasures. Then God says, a drought on her waters. They will dry up, for it is a land of idols, idols that will go mad with terror. Jeremiah 50:38. The waters of Babylon are the Euphrates and Tigris rivers. Both rivers are drying up now. Are we witnessing the fulfillment of Jeremiah's prophecy? The second prediction of the Euphrates River drying up comes as part of the 7 bowl judgments in Revelation. The judgments of the 7-year tribulation